July 30th, 1945. A decorated U.S. flagship, racing home from a secret mission, vanishes in just 12 minutes. No distress call. 880 souls lost. How does America's most powerful cruiser, fresh from delivering atomic bomb parts and hailed for bravery, simply disappear without a trace? Inside the chain reaction of decisions and secrets that sealed its fate. Commissioned in 1932, the USS Indianapolis stretched 610 feet from bow to stern, a sleek and formidable presence on the Pacific horizon. Her 9 8-inch guns, set in triple turrets, gave her the firepower to stand toe-to-toe with any adversary. Alongside these were 8 5-inch anti-aircraft guns and a battery of smaller mounts that bristled along her decks, a testament to the evolving threats of modern war. She carried a crew of nearly 1,200, serving not just as a warship, but as the flagship for Admiral Raymond Spruance during some of the most decisive campaigns in the Pacific. Under Spruance's command, Indianapolis led the Fifth Fleet through operations at Tarawa, Kwajalein, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima, earning 10 battle stars in the process. Time and again, she survived kamikaze attacks and relentless frontline duty. By 1945, Indianapolis was more than a ship. She was a symbol of resilience and might, trusted with the most critical missions the Navy could offer. Before dawn on July 16, 1945, a convoy of Army trucks rolled up to Hunters Point Naval Shipyard under heavy guard. Crates and a lead-lined canister, packed with uranium and bomb components, were loaded aboard the Indianapolis. Only a handful of officers knew the true nature of this cargo. Orders were clear: deliver it to Tinian with all possible speed, and speak of it to no one. Manhattan Project couriers, armed and silent, kept watch over the shipment, checking the canister in the captain's cabin and guarding the hangar where the crate was secured. The crew, sensing the tension, followed strict protocols without understanding why. The Indianapolis set out across the Pacific, engines pushed to their limits. Over 10 days, she covered 5,000 miles, faster than any heavy cruiser had ever crossed those waters. The ship arrived at Tinian on July 26, 1945, under the cover of darkness. The secret cargo was offloaded in silence. The mission's urgency left the men drained, the machinery strained, and the reason for their exhaustion locked away behind classified orders. After unloading her secret cargo at Tinian, Indianapolis received new orders. Proceed alone to Leyte Gulf. No destroyer escort was assigned. The route would take her through waters where Japanese submarines had been reported, but the operational directive left her exposed. Captain Charles B. McVeigh III, a veteran officer, now faced a journey without the usual shield of accompanying ships. The crew was running on exhaustion after their record-breaking sprint, machinery strained, and discipline stretched thin. Standard Navy doctrine recommended zigzagging as a defense against submarine attack, but the order left this to the captain's discretion. In the darkness, with fatigue setting in and no clear warnings of imminent danger, zigzag maneuvers were not enforced. The Indianapolis sailed on, a lone cruiser in the vast Pacific, carrying nearly 1,200 men across a stretch of ocean known for enemy patrols. The decision to send her unescorted, and the ambiguity around defensive tactics, would become the focus of controversy for decades. In those final hours, the ship was as vulnerable as she had ever been. Her fate was left to the silence of the sea and the unseen threats lurking below. A few minutes past midnight on July 30th, 1945. The Japanese submarine WWII-58, under Commander Mochitsura Hashimoto, tracked a lone silhouette slicing through the dark Pacific. Hashimoto ordered the launch of 6 Type 95 torpedoes. 2 found their mark. The first struck the Indianapolis forward, tearing open the starboard bow. In an instant, 3,500 gallons of aviation fuel ignited, sending a fireball through the forward compartments and severing the bow from the rest of the ship. Seconds later, the second torpedo slammed into the midsection, close to the powder magazines. The resulting explosion was massive. A shockwave ripped through the hull, and the magazine detonated with a force that split steel decks and vaporized compartments. Power failed across the ship. Alarms and lights died as seawater surged in, flooding passageways and trapping hundreds below decks. The bow sheared off completely and sank almost immediately. Within moments, the main hull began to list and break apart. Around 300 men died instantly in the blasts or were lost as the forward section disappeared beneath the waves. From the first torpedo strike to the ship's final plunge, just 12 minutes passed. The Indianapolis, a heavy cruiser built to withstand the worst the Pacific could offer, was gone, undone by a precise and catastrophic sequence of mechanical destruction unleashed in the dark. Hundreds of men, torn from their ship in the dead of night, found themselves scattered across the open Pacific. Life jackets and a handful of rafts offered little protection. By sunrise, the water churned with oil, blood, and debris. Sharks circled beneath, drawn by the chaos. Survivors tried to stay together, but the sea kept pulling them apart. Each day, the sun scorched exposed skin. Salt water burned their eyes and mouths. At night, the temperature dropped, leaving men shivering and desperate for warmth. Many drank seawater in their delirium, only to slip deeper into hallucination and agony. Amid this ordeal, Ensign Harlan Twible took charge of one group. He organized watches, rationed what little supplies they had, and tried to keep hope alive. Twible later recalled, "My fear was for the men. The people we could save, we saved." His resolve steadied those around him, even as numbers dwindled. On August 2nd, after nearly 4 days adrift, a passing patrol plane noticed an oil slick and spotted men waving frantically below. Lieutenant Adrian Marks, piloting a PBY Catalina, made a decision that defied orders. He landed on the rough sea, risking his own safety. Marks and his crew pulled survivors aboard and, when the cabin filled, lashed men to the wings with parachute cords. The overloaded plane could not take off, but it floated until rescue ships arrived. Out of nearly 900 who entered the water, only 316 would live to tell the story. Decades of searching the Pacific brought only frustration and empty sonar scans. Theories multiplied, but the wreck of the Indianapolis stayed hidden. In 2016, historian Richard Holver combed through wartime records, looking for anything that might have been missed. He found a single line in the deck log of LST-779, a landing ship that had crossed the same waters on July 30th, 1945. The entry, written at 0300 hours, recorded a sighting of Indianapolis, bearing 270 degrees at a distance of 10 miles, at coordinates 12 degrees 0 minutes north, 134 degrees 30 minutes east. This detail meant the cruiser was 25 miles west of the route everyone had assumed for years. That correction changed everything. Paul Allen's research team used the new coordinates to map out a focused 10 by 10 mile sonar grid, narrowing the search area from hundreds of square miles to a manageable box. What technology and speculation could not solve, one overlooked log entry finally did, turning a cold case into a solvable puzzle. Beneath more than 3 miles of water, the wreck of the Indianapolis lay undisturbed for over 70 years. When the Petrel's remotely operated vehicle finally illuminated the site in August 2017, the evidence was unmistakable. The bow rested 1.5 miles from the main hull, half buried in silt, its steel plating bent sharply back, peeled away nearly 90 degrees by a force no ship could survive. The hull number 35 still stood out against the darkness, a silent witness to the ship's violent end. Gun turrets, wrenched free by the force of the sinking, had plunged barrel first into the seabed, driven deep by the ship's final descent. The main hull showed collapsed decks and twisted bulkheads, matching survivor accounts of fire and explosion. Forensic experts studying these images reached a clear conclusion. The catastrophic breakup was caused by a magazine detonation, not by any error in navigation or command. This physical proof settled decades of blame and controversy, prompting the Navy to reaffirm the site's status as a protected war grave. The Indianapolis would never be disturbed again, her story preserved by the evidence left on the ocean floor. Today, the Indianapolis rests 3 miles down. Its secrets are finally exposed, and its crew is officially exonerated. Navies worldwide now treat wrecks as protected war graves, and the lesson endures. Truth, once buried, demands to be found. Some stories surface only when we refuse to stop searching. Share your thoughts below.